So I wondered, that got me thinking, if for the young person, or not the young person, the beginner at Kickstarter and funding and producing their own title, would you recommend that they stick to horror or stick to sci-fi or superhero or whatever? Would that make it easier for them as they're establishing themselves?
So I think it's really a question of there's so many different ways that you can go to sell a comic, right? You can sell digitally, through a website. You can go through Kickstarter. You can go through cons in person. There's a direct market. So it's more or less like, what do you want to put emphasis on? I put an emphasis on con sales. Maybe somebody else wouldn't. If that person wants to focus entirely on Kickstarter, then they should probably stick to one genre if that's the goal. Yeah. Answer your question.
What do you think? I like it. What do you think, Pat?
I think that, there's positives and drawbacks to both sides. When I was first launching, I had a series that was, kind of like fantasy realism, and then I launched at all ages, and the all ages suffered. And it wasn't because of a genre switch for me, it was because the platform, Kickstarter doesn't have kids looking for books, It has, mostly adults that are browsing for themselves. You don't buy a kid a gift on Kickstarter because you don't really know when it's going to come. So then I tried a different series in the same genre, and it did okay, but I felt like I wasn't growing my audience. So it was when I found books that were different while still having overlap with what already succeeded that I began to really grow my audience. Finding that middle ground where I was able to both continue to deliver to the core audience that I was building while also bridging gaps to audiences I had not hit yet, that's what really helped me grow there.
Yeah, I don't know that I can add much to that. I mean, I think I haven't done much outside of superheroes. Now, we've got one together that is on Kickstarter pre-launch now, our American Yakuza book, and that's going to be a murder mystery, very down to earth, very realistic, realistic as far as people goes, but no superpowers, none of that stuff. So we'll see for me, but having not switched genres significantly, I can't speak from experience, but I have watched, to Pat's point, that some individuals, you bounce around too much too often, right? So I think being consistent, building your audience, you'll feel the plateau, you'll see it, you'll experience it. Once you hit that plateau, that might be the time to maybe not shift dramatically, but maybe start moving on to adjacency, right? If you're doing superhero books, for example, the next book I may be launching is going to be more of a kind of a modern noir. It's a superhero book, but we're not calling it that. The guy is out to clear his name. He's lost his family. It's kind of like The Punisher, I guess, in some ways, with less murder. And so while it stays in the same zone as my other superhero books, it's great for those who just like that straight up street crime kind of what's going on. And yeah, there's a supervillain in there, but he's not really the core focus of it. And so being able to do that will give me an idea of how that shift can happen. And it's a black and white book. It's also the first black and white book we'll be doing. So just to kind of shift a little bit, and you stay on like that Venn diagram, there's still a significant enough overlap that I'll bring most, if not all, of my audience with me. And then as I progress and we start getting to the more gritty, realistic books, a lot of those folks will come along and have built up a new audience along the way. So you can graduate your audience as you go. And that's probably a better way of than going, I'm going to do superheroes, and then I'm going to do all ages, and I'm going to do horror, and now I'm going to do... Right, that's probably not going to work out for you. You're going to alienate a lot of your audience initially. So I think I did that a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. You're cooking.
Did you have something to add?
No, I mean, yeah, he's spitting. I mean, and also if you just want to, make what you want to make and then put it up there and see what happens. I mean, that's valid.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just depends what you want to do.